Okay. Today we are going to learn about the three states of matter: solid, liquid, and gas.
What are solid, liquid, and gas?
Good question. And that's what we are going to be learning about today. So we'll start with solid. Solid is something like a rock. It has a fixed shape and fixed volume. So even if I put it into this cup, it won't change shapes or do anything. It will just stay the same. Solid is not compressible. Some solids are, but those have air bubbles in them, like a sponge. So this solid is not compressible. You can't press it. Okay? And solids?
Can solids melt?
Solids can melt, and there's actually most solids can. Like this ice. If I put it into this hot pan, slowly you're gonna see that it starts melting. And I'll show you that that's gonna become water by the end of our thing. Okay. So as you can see, this solid can melt, and plastic can melt, metal can melt, and there are some solids that cannot melt, but most solids can. Okay.
What are the solids that cannot melt?
Some examples of a solid that cannot melt is wood, some types of stone, etc. There are actually really few solids that cannot be melted, but most solids can. Okay? And now solids do not fill their container entirely. So even if I put into a big container, it would not fill it entirely. It would just stay at its own volume. Solid does have volume. As you can see, the water level is right here right now. But if I dip the solid in, it rises. And that means that solid does have volume. And how you can find the volume of a solid is to see where your liquid is right now, and then when you dip the solid in, now you see where it is, and you subtract the original value that your liquid was at. Okay, now we're going to talk about the molecule structure of a solid. Molecules are tiny things that make up everything. So this glass has tiny molecules that make up a lot of stuff. It's kind of like Legos, and they make up like a really big thing. Okay? And now I have some marbles in here, and when the solid is a solid, and in a solid the marbles or the molecule just stay really close together and don't move at all. Okay? And if you even try to move them, then they won't move so much. Okay? But as you can see, when we heat solids up, they become water. So look at our ice, it's so much smaller, and there's so much water here now. Okay? So we can heat something up with, like this has warm water in it, and that's how I'm heating that up. But if you have something like a stove, and you put your solid on a stove, and if any solids are heated, then the molecules start moving, and therefore they become liquid. Okay, now we're going to talk about liquids. Liquids, some examples of a liquid are water, oil, or basically there's a lot of stuff. Okay? And liquid doesn't have a fixed shape. And so right now the liquid is taking the shape of this bottle. But if I pour it into this glass, then it's going to take the shape of the glass. Okay?
Bhaiya, is liquid compressible?
Liquid, okay, we'll see. So I have some water in here, and if you see, then I can squeeze it. But that doesn't mean that liquid is compressible. Liquid is not compressible. Okay? It's actually the air that we're compressing. So if you see over here, it will compress, right? But if you have a bottle like this that doesn't have air at all in it, now try and compress this. It's really hard, right? But if we put just a little bit of air into that and take a bit of water out, then it becomes much easier to compress. Right? Try it. Right? It's easier, right?
Yeah.
So air in the liquid, you can't really compress the actual liquid, okay? And liquid also has a fixed volume. So if I have this much water, even if I put it into this glass, it's still gonna stay the same volume, even if it changes the shape, okay? And just like our solid, liquid is also has volume, and we can prove that by doing this experiment. See, right now the water is over here, and when we put the liquid in, it rises to here. Okay, now it's time for a little experiment. Okay, Adi, what I want you to do is close your eyes completely, okay? And put your hands like this. And I will put two things on your hands, and you have to tell me which one is heavier. Which one is heavier?
One.
This one or this one?
This one. No.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Which one?
This one.
This one is heavier, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So as you can see, this bottle has much more water than this bottle, right? Therefore, water also has mass or weight. Okay?
Is all liquids can turn into solids?
Almost all liquids can be turned into solid. I can't think of any examples that can't be. I'm pretty sure every solid can be turned into liquid. Such as if you have water, you can freeze it and you can make it into a solid. If you have oil, you can put it in the freezer and it's going to become a solid. Okay? And the molecules in solid are not tightly packed together as much as the molecules in liquid are not as tightly packed together as the molecules in a solid. Okay? So they can jiggle around a lot, and that's what makes the water able to change its shape and do everything. Okay? And when you put the molecules of a solid or any molecules in anything in a freezer or someplace very cold, then they get tightly packed together. Okay? And that makes it a solid, such as the ice. Okay. And water or liquids are fluid, so they can flow freely. As you can see, it can just flow directly from the bottle into a glass. Okay, now our next topic is gas. Okay, and you can't really see gas, but we can do some experiments in which you can.
Can gas fill its container fully?
Yes, good question. So right now, even though you might not see it, this cup is full of gas entirely. And if we reduce the amount of space in it, then the gas will also compress. But if we pour the gas over here, it's going to spread into the entire room. Okay? And here's an experiment to prove that gas also has weight. And gas also has volume. And here's an experiment to prove that. So even though this glass is full of gas, you can't see it, right? But now look at the water level when I put the glass in. See how much it rises? But if I let the gas go out, then you can clearly see that it went down. Okay, let's look at that again. Right now, our water is at this point right here. And then when we put our gas in it, it comes in between of this and this point, right? But then as soon as we take it out, our gas just went a little lower. Gas doesn't have a lot of volume and a lot of mass. That's why it only went down a bit. Okay? And now, is gas compressible? We can find that out with this. This bottle is full of gas right now. can easily squeeze it. Adi, see if you can squeeze it. Okay, and that means that gas is compressible. You can compress gas. Okay.
Does gas have weight?
Gas, we can do an experiment to find that out. I have this right here, and as you can see, the weight of both the balloons is level right now. Okay, but if I inflate one balloon, okay, now I have an inflated balloon, and I will put that on my weight, and if you see, then it is heavier than our original balloon, which proves that gas does have weight. Does that answer your question, Adi?
Yes.
Okay. Now we're gonna see if a gas can fill its container entirely. Okay. So this has gas in it, and I'm not letting it escape. And gas is always okay. So, and the gas is in here, and if I pour it out, then it's just gonna go and fill the entire groove. Gas can take as much space as there is. Okay. And there's a lot of things that can be seen in all three states. A good example is water. Water, as you saw, had that ice cube in the start, and now it has completely melted into water. Okay, and now slowly if I heat this water up, it's gonna become water vapor, which means it's gonna become a gas and flow up. Okay, and so water is one of the only good things that you can find at home that can be in all three states of matter. And there you go, those are the three states of matter. Thank you.